What's up, guys? Last week we talked about buying call options, a way to express your bullish view on a stock. Today we're going to talk about another bullish setup and one of my favorite ways of playing options, and that is selling a put, which is it's really cool. I remember the first time I did one of these types of trades, and it really blew my mind. And I think they're super, super cool. And we're going to get into that today. And this might sound a little crazy. When you talk about puts, it can get a little bit confusing. But hopefully, I do a good enough job so that we all learn something today. So, again, it's another edition of Lessons with Luke. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this type of content. Let's get into it. So we're talking about selling puts. Remember, it's a bullish bet. You think the stock is either going to stay flat or it's going to go up. Okay, that's what we need to know. But what is selling a put? Like, what are you really doing? And the way to think about that is insurance. And a simple example is, let's just think about Warren Buffett, right? Believe it or not, he trades a ton of options, right? What do you mean? Not only in his portfolio, management business, but think about like Geico, right? They have all these insurance policies, and that's exactly the way you should be thinking about puts. Now, normally with insurance, we're buying options, right? We're buying insurance. Well, whenever you sell a put, you need to be thinking about it from the perspective of the insurance company. So let's think about it, right? Let's say you go and you buy a house. Okay, you love this house, you want to protect this house, right? So what do? You go and you buy insurance. And whenever you buy insurance, what are you doing? You're trying to protect in case damage happens, right? So you call up the insurance company and you say, hey, my house is worth $100,000. I need to protect it. And they say, okay, I'll write you a policy. And what do you do whenever you buy insurance? You pay a premium every single month, every quarter, every year, whatever, for this protection. Okay. So money is just constantly going out when you're buying insurance. When you're the insurance company, you got to flip all of that, right? Because money keeps coming in. You receive premium, but there is a trade-off. The trade-off is, in the event that something bad happens, some damage happens to a house, you need to make that person that bought the option, that insurance, you have to make them whole. And so whenever you sell a put, the main thing you want to be thinking about is you're taking in money, right? You're taking in insurance money, but the trade-off is there is an obligation that you might have to make that person whole if there's enough damage that happens to the stock. In other words, you would be buying the stock. So when you're selling a put, you think the stock is going to go up or stay flat. You're going to receive some money for that, but there may be an obligation that you would have to purchase 100 shares of stock. Wow. Now, you know what we need to do? We got to go ahead and get to one of those little funky diagrams that we have. It's just a good way. That's a way a lot of us learned how to trade options. They learned about options. We got to go through it today. So here we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Remember, guys, we're selling a put. I'm going to change my color here. When you sell a put, it's a bullish trade. So again, let's go ahead and talk about the left axis here, right over here. That, I should actually do it the other way. That is your P&L. So as this line goes up, your profit goes up. As this line goes down, your profit goes down. On the x-axis, so from 45 all the way up to 55 in this example, that is the stock price at expiration. And we're going to bring our favorite stock from last time, and that's XYZ. And we're also going to say that the stock is $50. Okay, remember, we think the stock's going to go up or stay the same, and we like XYZ. XYZ is just a great company, and it's worth $50 today. And we're also going to say that today is February 1st. So let's go through an example before we get into the diagram. I want to sell one XYZ April 50 puts, and I'm going to collect $2.50. What does that even mean? So let's go ahead and do a couple little, we have to define a couple of things. So premium, what is premium? Premium is the amount of money that you collect. So how do you calculate premium? Well, you receive 250. So you take the amount that you received times the number of contracts, which is one. One contract, remember, represents 100 shares of stock. And so the amount of premium that you collect is $250. Okay. You take that in whenever you sell this put. The strike, that is the price at which something happens or doesn't happen. So again, whenever you sell a put, it's an obligation. You're making the obligation to buy 100 shares of stock if the stock is below 50. Okay. We're going to go over that in a second. Expiration. Just like with insurance policies, they don't last forever. They have a time frame on them. Same thing happens with options. So your expiration in this example is going to be April. We're talking about monthly options. So you're talking about the third Friday is the expiration. It's really the Saturday after that. And what type are we talking about? It's a put option. So let's get back to our example. Now, there are a few things that we want to pay attention to in this diagram. The first thing is 50. That is the strike. Don't you notice that if the stock at expiration is above 50, you collect the maximum amount of premium? That's $250. That means if the stock were to just keep going up to 60, 70, the max you're going to make is $250. Okay. Your gains are capped when you sell a put, and it is $250 in this example. The second point right here is 47.5. That is your break even point. Now your break even point, I'll show you how to calculate that in a second, but you're going to take the strike 50, and then you're going to subtract the premium that you collected. So in this example, 50 minus 2.5 equals 47.5. Okay. That's your break even. That means the stock could fall 5% down to 47.5, and it's a flat trade. You didn't lose any money. Okay. If the stock is above 47.5 through 50, it's still a positive trade. Okay. Because you collected $250 in premium, the stock is allowed to fall a little bit all the way down to 47.5, and it's still a profitable trade. Now, because selling a put is making a bullish bet, it is very similar to being long stock. So as the stock falls below 47.5, you're losing 1 for 1, just like if you were long 100 shares of stock. Okay. Your obligation to buy 100 shares of stock, if at expiration, it's below the strike price, which is $50. Okay. If you're long 100 shares of stock and it goes down to 45, you lost $500. If it goes down to 40, you lost $1,000. Okay. When you're short of put, it is very, very similar to being long stock whenever you are below that strike price. Okay. So let's go ahead and go through a few things that we want to know. Number one, your max gain whenever you sell a put is the premium collected. In this example, it's $250. And that is, take the premium amount, $250, that you sold the option for. One contract times 100 equals $250. That's your bada bing, bada boom. Your break even in this example, you're going to take the strike minus the premium. So 50 minus 250 equals 47.50. So that means, think about that. If you were to buy 100 shares of stock, it costs you what, $5,000. By selling this put, your break even, you get a little bit of a cushion with the premium that you sold. So your break even is 47.50. Okay. You don't lose money until it's below 47.50 in this example. Now your max loss, a lot of people, they like to say, oh, max loss, man, that's scary. I don't want to talk about that, but you kind of need to, right? Again, max loss, very simple to calculate. You take the strike, which is 50, subtract the premium, which is 250, one contract times 100 shares. The max loss is $4,750. It's the same thing as if you were buying 100 shares of stock. If you bought 100 shares of stock at 50, it's $5,000, and the stock went to zero, your max loss is $5,000. But when you sell a put, At least you get the kiss of the premium. So in this example, $250. Let's go ahead and move that. So again, this right here, that's the max loss if you were to buy 100 shares of a $50 stock. In this example, you have a little bit of a cushion whenever you sell a put. So 47.50 is the max that you can lose. But let's check out this win-loss scenario here. And what's really cool about selling options, specifically put options, is you win 3 out of 4 scenarios. So number one, if the stock goes up, it's above 50, you win, right? You take in $250, all that premium, winner, chicken dinner. The stock is flat, you still win. The stock stays at 50, you collect all that premium, you win. I like to be a winner. Number 3, if the stock falls a little, like less than 5% in this example, you win. The 4th scenario is where you lose, and that's if the stock falls below 5%, and you are a loser. So think about that. Stock has 4 things that it can do. 3 of these things happen, you win. But what is the trade-off here? The trade-off here is, if you went and you bought 100 shares of stock, you got to outlay a bunch of money. But if the stock were to go to 60, 70, 80, you participate in all of that upside. Whenever you sell a put, you forgo all of that. And in return, you just collect that premium, right? And so you have that limited upside with the maximum amount that you can make, which is the premium collected. But again, it's going to act when the stock is below that strike, very similar to being long stock. So when I sell a put, it's a stock that I want to own. Usually it's going to be a great stock. It's going to be one that makes a lot of money. That way, if I'm put in, right, if I have the obligation to buy 100 shares, I don't have a sad face. I have a happy face. Why? Because I was able to buy that stock a little bit lower than where it was whenever we put that trade on. So listen, this is your lesson. You guys stay bullish. I'll see you next time.